Hello and welcome to this week's Angel Oracle card reading for week commencing the 29th of October 2018. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I really do appreciate it. This week we'll be using the Angels of Atlantis Oracle cards by Stuart Pearce, as we haven't used these for a while. And this week we're celebrating Halloween, and Halloween has a vast, rich history of where it comes from. We may think of it as a Celtic pagan celebration of Samhain, where we're coming to the end of the harvest season and welcoming in the winter and a new beginning. And around this time, a lot of bonfires were lit to sort of symbolise the end of this season, but it was also an idea of cleansing and purification. So we may find this week that we're releasing a lot of things. And we have a lot of different astrological aspects going on as well, which is great if you want to go check those out and see how that ties into Halloween this year. Also from a Christian viewpoint, celebrating All Saints Day, where we remember the saints that have helped us in our human history, that have done great deeds. And it's kind of said that the sort of veil is thinner around this time of year, which means that we're able to connect more with the divine. So from a sort of mediumship or psychic side, this can mean our past loved ones can pass through messages to us, but just connecting with the divine, with God, with the Lord, and really talking through what we wish to release, what we wish to bring into our lives, and what we want to happen for this new season. So without further ado, I will pull 3 cards and just hold your intention of which card you're drawn to. So it may be card 1, 2 or card 3 that you're most drawn to. All of the cards tell a story for us in our general sense, but the card we pull for ourselves is the card that we're resonating most with at this time. It just means that we get a clearer reading personally and individually. But if you would like to order your own personal reading, I would so love to do that with you. I'll leave the information in the description box down below this video. You can get in touch with me and we can arrange that. Okay, so we have card 1 is just flown out. Card 2 and our third and final card for the week of the 29th. Right. So if you were pulled to card 1, you're working with Archangel Sandalphon, and the word on this card is love. Archangel Sandalphon is said to have had a human existence at one stage. And really what this allows for is an understanding of who we are and what it means to be human, what it means to have physical feelings, emotional feelings, spiritual feelings, mental feelings, and what it means to love. We can love in the divine loves us in a very divine sense. No matter what we do, God will be there for us. He knows, or she knows, you know, whichever way you're coming at that from, our innate desires, the things we're struggling with. But love on a very human level can be different. It could be that we're falling in love with a partner, or we meet somebody new and your heart skips a beat. And sometimes with love, in a very human perspective, it can bring up a lot of insecurity, because when we love, we have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. We have to allow our hearts to open. We have to take a risk and a leap of faith that that person could potentially leave us one day. I mean, it could happen. So we really have to sort of open our hearts and like we said, have that vulnerability. Love in the divine sense doesn't have those conditions. It's unconditional, and God will never leave us or abandon us. So Sandalphon is helping us deal with love on a very human level. And if we're struggling to open our hearts to that, then Sandalphon is an angel we can work with to help us through that process. If we were pulled to card number 2, we have Archangel Jophiel, and the word on this card is forgiveness. What's really interesting is the card Sandalphon, although it is working with Archangel Sandalphon, the figure on this card is Christ, Jesus Christ, opening the heart to love, you know, this Christ consciousness. Card 2 is Mary, Mother Mary. So we definitely have a theme in terms of the All Saints aspect of the energy of this week. Forgiveness. What is it we need to release? Forgiveness can cause a lot of different emotions in people, and we may have a different view of what forgiveness means. Some people may say if you forgive someone, you let go of the past and you move forwards with them in your life. But sometimes I believe forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean that we have to have that person in our lives anymore. We can actually move forwards, let go. It's about us letting go of the resentment, that burden of pain, so that we're not hanging on to anything that doesn't need to be held on to. I saw an interesting documentary with Jim Carrey this week. I literally caught just the last few minutes of it, but he was saying that he used to be in a space where someone could have annoyed him, and he'd be thinking about it, and he'd be thinking, oh, this person, and if I ever see this person again, I'll say this to him or I'll say that to him. And he said that before he knew it, 2 hours of his day had gone obsessing about this person who actually wasn't in his space at that time. And sometimes, like, forgiveness will allow us to not be in that space where we're obsessing or constantly thinking about that person all the time. I'll say this, I'll do this, I'm going to act like this. You know, release it, let it go. It's easier said than done, but Mother Mary's helping us work with that. And also Archangel Jophiel, who's the angel of beauty and will help us to see the beauty in any situation if we call upon her and ask her to. And if you were drawn to card 3, you picked Archangel Gabriel, the messenger angel, the angel that's the loudest. And the word on this card is inspiration. So it stands to reason that Gabriel would be guiding us through this card. We may be getting a lot of downloads, as a lot of us call them, where we wake up in the middle of the night and we have ideas for our business, or we have ideas for house renovation, or whatever it may be. Divinely led ideas. So it could be quite valuable to carry around a notepad and a pen. I know it sounds a bit sort of like practical advice rather than spiritual advice, but it could really help us, because I'm sure we've all been there where we've had these pearls of like wisdom enter our head and then we forget. So it's important that we, particularly if we're drawn to card 3, that we're just aware that we may get these inspired ideas, and it's how we sort of act upon them, put action in behind them. We've been given the idea for a reason. Not all of us have the same gifts and talents, and not all of us have the same ideas, and it's a good job, because the world would be a pretty boring place. But you've been picked to have the talent you have, to have the ideas that you have, and so it's important that you act upon them when they come through, because it's your gift to share. So just as the overall week, love, opening our hearts, forgiveness and releasing, and allowing room for inspired ideas to come through that really motivate us into the new month. So I really hope that you've enjoyed the reading this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Halloween, however you celebrate it, and if you don't celebrate it, that's fine too. And I'm sending you so much love, lots of blessings, and until we speak again next week, take care. Lots of love, Alyssa.